Imagine a company so powerful, it defined how an entire nation shopped. A company whose catalogue was a household staple, whose stores were landmarks, and whose name was synonymous with quality and trust. That company was Sears Roebuck Co. In the mid-20th century, Sears was the undisputed Amazon of its time. It brought the world to your doorstep, literally. Its famous catalogue sold everything you could imagine: clothes, tools, washing machines, even entire houses. But unlike Amazon, Sears failed to adapt. Its decline wasn't a sudden crash. It was a slow, quiet erosion that stretched over decades. Store by store, brand by brand, its market share slipped away year after year. By 2018, the giant finally collapsed, filing for bankruptcy and leaving everyone to ask, how could a titan fall so quietly yet so completely? If you want to understand how decades of mismanagement can destroy an empire, comment below, "I want to know the truth." And make sure you subscribe, because the full story reveals hidden lessons about business that you won't find in any textbook. Sears' story begins not with weakness, but with a strength that slowly morphed into strategic blindness. Back in the 1980s and 90s, the company was sitting on a gold mine. It owned thousands of prime real estate locations across the country. But here's where the problem started. The leadership began to see more value in the land than in the business itself. Instead of investing in modernizing their stores and improving the shopping experience, they focused on leasing and selling off their properties. These prime locations became financial assets on a balance sheet, not vibrant hubs for customers. In the world of finance, this is called asset-focused management. You prioritize maximizing the value of what you own on paper while neglecting the actual day-to-day operations. And on paper, Sears looked fantastic. Real estate valuations were soaring, and shareholders were happy to see the company's book value climb. But in reality, a different story was unfolding. The stores were becoming old and dated. The products on the shelves couldn't compete with what rivals were offering. The customer experience, once the cornerstone of the Sears brand, was starting to suffer. While Sears was admiring its real estate portfolio, competitors like Walmart and Target were playing a completely different game. They were investing relentlessly in their operations. They built hyper-efficient supply chains, constantly redesigned their store layouts to be more appealing, and used data to make sure they always had the right products in stock. Let's look at the numbers, because they tell a stark tale. In 1980, Sears' revenue was double its real estate value. By 2000, its real estate value had nearly caught up to its revenue. Meanwhile, Walmart's revenue had exploded. Sears had become paralyzed by its own assets. It had plenty of money on the balance sheet, but it had lost its competitive edge in the market where it mattered most, with the customer. By the 2000s, Sears' vast but underperforming assets made it a perfect target for a new kind of financial strategy. Enter Eddie Lampert, a high-profile hedge fund manager and a former star analyst at Goldman Sachs. Lampert had a vision for Sears, but it wasn't about retail innovation. It was about financial engineering. His plan seemed logical on the surface. First, merge Sears with another struggling retailer, Kmart, to create a massive new entity. Then, slash costs aggressively across the board. Finally, sell off the company's valuable assets, like its real estate and famous brands, to pay down debt and return cash to shareholders. On paper, it sounded like a smart way to unlock hidden value. But in practice, this approach choked the life out of the business. The cost-cutting wasn't just trimming fat, it was cutting into bone. Store maintenance was deferred, leaving buildings to crumble. Staff levels were cut to the bare minimum, leading to terrible customer service. The marketing budget was minimized, so nobody even knew what Sears was selling anymore. Instead of innovating, the company focused on asset stripping. Valuable properties were sold off for a quick cash injection, but that money wasn't reinvested into the business. There was no meaningful investment in e-commerce or a modern digital strategy, even as Amazon was taking over the world. Lampert ran the company like a hedge fund, not a retailer. Decisions were centralized and driven by complex financial models that prioritized short-term returns for investors like himself. Long-term operational health was simply not on the agenda. The results were catastrophic. The stores grew dirtier and more disorganized. The inventory looked outdated and unappealing. Unsurprisingly, customers fled in droves to Walmart, Amazon, and Target, who were offering better prices, better selection, and a better shopping experience. The market's judgment was brutal. In 2005, Sears had a market capitalization of around $20 billion. By 2015, it had shrunk to just $5 billion. During that same period, Amazon's value skyrocketed. Lampert's experiment proved a critical business lesson. Financial engineering can't save a company with a rotten core. You can have all the cash in the world on your balance sheet, but it's worthless if your customers have stopped walking through your doors. So what's the ultimate lesson from the slow, painful demise of Sears? It's a masterclass in what not to do. First and foremost, the core business must always come first. No amount of financial maneuvering or asset sales can save you if your fundamental business model is broken. Second, retail is a fast-moving river. If you're not constantly adapting, you'll be swept away. Supply chains, data analytics, digital presence, and customer experience aren't just buzzwords. They are the lifeblood of modern retail. Ignoring them for decades, as Sears did, is a fatal mistake. Third, the Sears saga warns us about the risks of hedge fund control. The relentless pressure for short-term profits often directly conflicts with the need for long-term investment and innovation. When financial structures become more important than operational strategy, the business is doomed. And finally, culture matters. Decades of aggressive cost-cutting destroyed employee morale and erased generations of institutional knowledge. A company might look alive on a financial statement, but it can be dead in practice. For every investor, every employee, and every leader, the message is clear. Never confuse the value of your assets with your competitive advantage in the market. Financial reports can lie about a company's health, but customer loyalty, employee culture, and a spirit of innovation will always reveal the truth. Sears wasn't destroyed overnight. This was a company that survived world wars, the Great Depression, and the rise of suburban shopping malls. It once delivered the American dream to millions of households. And yet, it slowly and systematically dismantled itself from the inside out. From its obsession with real estate to its final chapter under hedge fund management, the fall of Sears teaches us that retail isn't a balance sheet problem, it's a strategy problem. If this story made you rethink the difference between wealth on paper and real power in the market, comment below. I want to know the truth. Share this video because understanding the consequences of long-term strategic neglect can save careers, investments, and entire companies. And be sure to subscribe to the Seeds of Serenity. In our next episode, we'll uncover the story of another fallen giant and reveal more lessons for surviving in today's ruthless economy. Thanks for watching.